Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel, and welcome to Need for Speed Champions. Happy New Year to all of you guys. Happy beloved and blessed New Year to all of you guys out there. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season. I certainly did. So with that being said, let me get right to the topic of the video. Today we are showcasing my 2013 Lamborghini Egoista. Now, I've built this car a couple of months back, but didn't really get the chance to sit down and kind of, record it. To all the people who's on YouTube watching my videos, I really didn't get a chance to do that. However, I posted the pictures on my Instagram page. I will leave the Instagram link down in the description below, so go check it out if you get a chance, and when you get a chance, check it out. So this 2013 Lamborghini Egoista is one of Lamborghini's concept cars that they've created for their 50th anniversary of the company, and they've built this car based on a jet fighter because of its aerodynamic designs and the intricate details and curves all around the car. You can see it. I don't know if they got it off an Italian jet or an American F-95 jet fighter. I think that's called an F-95. In their trailer, when they were showcasing their Egoista, they had this jet fighter that just airdropped the Egoista down onto the ground, and then it just took off like it was going down. I think that was a volcano hill. I don't know if that was a canyon hill or a volcano hill, but it definitely the orange aesthetic in the background gave it the impression that it was like near a volcano somewhere. That's my take on it. I think that's the reason why I did like a showcase video, a quick 45-second video showcasing my Egoista, like it was a Need for Speed showcase video where I had this Egoista just right next to, I don't know, a volcano hill or something like that. So yeah, that's basically where I got my trailer idea from, because why not? It's an Egoista. So obviously you can tell that I put in a lot of effort into, detailing the corners and angles and all the extra stuff that makes an Egoista an Egoista. What was the hardest part for me was the back end of the car. So let's start with the back, because the back I think was the most challenging part of the whole thing. And that's because I was trying to add like these little fin flaps on either side. And on a real car, it had like a triangular flap on both corners, at both corners of the car. And I think those are like heat exhaust things when the car is going so fast, because through those little things here, you can actually see the tires rolling. So I try to capture that as much as I can. I didn't capture a whole lot, but at least I tried. And I try to make sure I add the exhaust parts down here with the orange highlights and stuff, because really what I wanted was an open exhaust pipe at the end of the car, but I didn't manage to get that, unfortunately. I mean, it's Lego, so you have to do whatever you gotta do to shape it, make it look like it's something that's something that you can see on a car. But everything's not always perfect, so that was the hardest part for me. Going toward the center slope here, there's an engine in the back, by the way. I could just take the whole thing off, but I don't want this to come apart. I can try, so let me see if I can do that. The top roof here, this is how it is shaped. You can see all these little 45-degree angle round parts with the bars. And I've used the clear one specifically because the black ones just came out not too long ago. That is basically how I was able to shape the top of the Egoista, because I wanted the triangular parts of the top portion of this part to cover the canopy. And this thing is starting to fall apart on me as I'm speaking. The downfall with this car is that it is pretty fragile, so you have to hold it at a certain place. You have to hold it at a certain angle. You have to hold it by its sides. I would recommend that. Holding it by its front and holding it by its back is not a good idea. So the Egoista's engine is located in the back. I can take the whole thing off. There we go. And then you can see like the engine detail at the back here, and I'm gonna remove this as well. Let me remove these little vent air takes, whatever you want to call those things. and you can see the engine detail a little bit. It's all right. I wanted to add some extra details and stuff to the back, but I wanted to save some room at the same time for these vent parts to be sealed off, whatnot. So I tried my best to add some engine details and stuff. Now the lights, they're not regular 1x2 plate, transparent red plates that you use as taillights. They're actually the parts that I borrowed from, what was it, the McLaren set? I don't know if it was the McLaren set. Oh yeah, actually it was the McLaren set. So the newest McLaren set has one of those popsicle-like, transparent red popsicle-like parts that you use for taillights. They added those on the McLaren Vision Gran Turismo. The guy who talked about the McLaren set called it a car from the video game. Obviously, everybody knows it's a McLaren Solus Vision GT. That's basically where I got the taillights from. They're hidden right underneath these wedge slopes under here. And I could take these off, but I don't want this to come apart so easily. That's how fragile this car is. But yeah, that's what I used to create the taillights at the back without having to struggle to put the 1x2 transparent plate, trans red plate underneath these things, especially when you got these fins that are just in the way. And I didn't want to give up on those fin parts just for the sake of that part, you know. I would rather choose this over putting the plate there, if you know what I mean. So now let's go underneath the car here. This car is falling apart like crazy. I'll put it back together at the end of the video. So let's go underneath the car. Underneath it, you can see all the little extra details and stuff. Now at the corner of each side right here, they have like a tiny triangular fin that just goes like going toward the back. Now, unfortunately, I could not figure out how to add that, so I just used the minifigure hands as a substitute for that type of fin. But I mean, it still works, at least to the extent of the lower part here. At least it worked. That's all I care about right now. At least it worked. And I kind of, like the cherry on top, I kind of just sealed these corners off with the bracket. It's a 1x1 bracket, but then I used a wedge plate to cover the sides up on both sides, so you can see that they're kind of spread out a little bit. Yes, you can see, like, they're just going out, but it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine as it is. I know my hand is in the way, but give me a second. I'm trying to put this back together. I'm working with small space right now. When you are returning these parts, you got to be careful because this thing will come apart like crazy. If you mash down on it, the back wheels will come off. Like the back parts that hold the wheels in place, they will come off. Because I built this car to be as low as possible to match the diagram of the car itself, to match the length and the height and the width of the car. So we go to the side of the car. Now this is where the fun part comes in when it comes to designing the doors, because, you know, the Egoista has no doors. It has just the canopy where it just goes up and down. When you go into the Egoista, let's say you own this car, when you go into the Egoista, this thing goes back. I don't know if you have a key, if you have to use like a key fob to push the button to open the canopy or not, but these go back and then the canopy just kind of goes up. Like, it doesn't really do that on this car, but it kind of goes up like this. And then you just get in and then it just closes up and then it just seals it up. So it just basically has the aesthetics of a jet fighter. That's why I said earlier that this car was based off of a jet fighter, because, you know, the corners, the angles, the corners, the angles, the aerodynamics on this car almost looks like a jet on wheels. That's basically, you know what, I'll just call it what it is. It's basically a jet on wheels because, you know, it's based off of a jet fighter. So that's how you can get into the car. If I can take it off without breaking anything. So this is how I created the door here. Well, not really a door. This is how I created the wall here. A lot of curves, a lot of angles used, a lot of, you know, tiny little details used to, you know, curve the door, shape, I mean, oh my gosh, I keep calling this the door, curve the wall, shape the wall to make it, you know, so curvy that it just, you know, it's just the signature for the Egoista. Just give it the curvy side. And you may have noticed down here, this is a tile. This is actually a 2x4 tile. And the reason for that was because there was like a gap opening right there, and I didn't like that, so I had to seal that off with the tile. But it worked perfectly fine. It worked well. It gave it the extra detail on the side of the door, which is very awesome, actually. Really awesome to have that door feature. So then we got some little side details down here going toward the back of the wheel. Then we got this little wedged curve going into the wall here, going all the way down toward, helping the wall here to get the Egoista aesthetic to the side. So that way it can be recognizable, because I'm gonna try to keep it as simple as possible, but keep it as iconic as possible, because this is Lamborghini's homage to the company for its 50 years of building Lamborghini, basically. So I try to keep that. So if you pay attention to this car as well, you can also see that these are custom-made wheels made by Brick the Brick himself on Instagram. I will leave his link down below in the description. Check him out. He is very detailed when it comes to creating these wheels. All the others create their wheels. They're awesome as well. But I think, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, I think Brick the Brick has hit the nail with this one. He has done an excellent job with these custom wheels, because not only does he customize them for you, but you can get them at a very great price. So, I mean, this man is very talented. I wanted to do my own custom wheels at the beginning of creating my own cars, but I was like, you know, there are other people to do that. Let them do it. So check him out. Please go check him out on Instagram. He's really awesome. He's awesome. Just give him a follow, please. He does an excellent job with these custom wheels. All right, now back to the car. So let's take a look at the interior. I almost went to the front without showing you guys the interior. So here's a look at my Egoista interior. You can see the orange. You can see the orange aesthetic all around. See, this is coming off right here. So you can see the orange aesthetic all around. I try to keep it relatively simple, and I tried to, you know, add some extra details and stuff. I didn't use the regular steering wheel this time. I'll show you guys the steering wheel here. Adjust my camera a bit so you can see that pretty clearly. So this is the steering wheel that I've used. I've used the orange, I've used the minifigs to give that steering wheel some extra detail. I added the logo, I added the reading, like a dashboard screen reading. It's like a screen reader. I think that's like a speed gauge monitor, if that's what they put into the car, because they try to make, remember, they base the car off of a jet fighter, so they try to make everything look like, they try to make everything on the car represent a jet fighter. So the best part that I did with during the building process for this car was the steering wheel. So I was really happy with the way it came out. It does fit a minifig, in case anybody's wondering. It does fit a minifig in the car. So yeah, this is the best part with building this car. You build the interior, and also if you notice, this is the same parts that the McLaren set. This is the same parts that was used in the McLaren set, like the McLaren F1 LM. I've used those parts, and they work. Basically, they just work. They just, you know, they just slope all the way down toward the foot pedal, right underneath the steering wheel. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a foot pedal right there. It's like a popsicle. Not popsicle. It's like an ice skating foot pedal there, but you can see it right there. So that's the best part when you're building this car. So the hardest part with building this car is going to be the rear and the front. We'll get to the front in a second, but the hardest part with building this car is the rear and the front. The best part to build on this car, in my opinion, would be the interior. So this interior will be a fun build. If I can seal this windscreen off, that would be great. Okay, that took a while, but I finally got it sealed. as well as the other parts that keep falling off around the car. So let's go to the front here. Now the front is the most complicated part, just like the back, because, you know, I had to angle the front a little bit. I had to add some extra detail to it. And I had to figure out how to add the transparent headlights, which in the end, I really didn't. I just had to rely on these little tiny holes on these wedge slopes as headlights. But yeah, this is the most complicated part. So here is how the front is angled. You got all these wedges, all these slopes, all the extra round parts with the bars on them. That's how I was able to angle these curves here. And then I'll just show you guys the front here. This is like the icing on the cake to me. The icing on the cake to me is this bonnet here. The bonnet comes off and you can see all the details of how this car's front is made. All the extra curves and stuff, that's all in there. And I've used like a hinge part too. I'll turn this over so I can show you, to invert this little guy right here, just to, you know, seal that off as a center part of the car, which is the best part, because, you know, I was trying to figure out how to do that with all the other tile parts, and this was the answer. And if you notice, I think this is one of the newest parts that Lego came out with, was this triangular piece. I ended up taking advantage of that and just using that just to seal off the center, the very center, at the very center of the car. So that's basically how the front is made. A lot of inversions, a lot of slopes. I had to brighten my camera up a little bit. So that is how the front is made. So this has been one of the greatest MOCs of 2023. I said that at the beginning of the video. I'll say it again at the end of the video, because I think this is where I started going in depth with the details and stuff. I was like, you know, I'm gonna build the Egoista. I'm gonna try to, you know, add this detail. I'm gonna try to add this feature. I'm gonna try to add that feature. And look where it landed me. It landed me with this detailed Egoista. Now I'm pretty sure there's some people that can build this car just better than me. I'm pretty sure, but this is at least, for this scale, this is the best one that's out there. So I have some instructions made for it. With that said, that will conclude the video of the Egoista. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. So with that said, I am going to try a new outro. I got this from one guy. I'm probably gonna twist it up a little bit, add my own niche to it. If you guys like this car, let me know what you guys think about this Lamborghini Egoista. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring a bell for notifications, share this video out there, and you guys have a great day.